Hello, viewers on YouTube. How you doing? What show are we on? Truth is viral. So take 2 penicillins and call me in the morning.
Places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep this frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral Live, folks. My name is Bob Powell. It's a brisk day here in Alpena, Michigan. And, yeah, I'm just getting over the pneumonia. Still sucking on cough lozenges. But all's good. I was sounding like coughing up so much that I sound like Peter Brady in puberty. There for a while, so I couldn't broadcast. But now we're back with you live in Alpena, Michigan, and we're here at the March for Our Lives rally, and we're going to see what these folks have to say. And we've got a nice crowd here, people with and without guns. This should be an interesting time. Let's just see what's going on. If the screen will flip. My fingers are too cold to make it flip.
How you doing, Mr. Powell?
Hey, how you doing? Alpena's finest.
Consider coming and helping out and volunteering and help bring these programs into the schools to complement what the schools and our county officials and law enforcement are doing. I think we're doing a great job right at this point, but you can't have too many programs. Thank you. Woo!
I'll make sure the person's good.
Who wants one?
Yeah, we got a nice crowd out here today, folks. It's actually a little bit larger than I had anticipated. I should have brought my teenage granddaughter out here and let her carry my AR-15. Yes, sir. Teach your children well. Oh, I see a good friend of mine, Michael Sininsky. He's my go-to guy for chemtrail research. So it's like the Unabomber.
Have a couple interesting conversations. Yourself?
Mr. Sininsky, how you doing today? You are live on The Truth is Viral. That's okay. I meant to put you on. So what do you think about this crowd today?
I think it's, well, I went over to that little table, and they're like, oh, you want to fill out a postcard and send it to your congressman? I said, so to let them know that, to care about the kids. And I said, do you think that they don't already care about the kids? Like, I don't understand the whole, every 90% of the signs here are do it for the kids rhetoric. And that's pretty much the same rhetoric that Hitler used, actually.
Yeah,
if you look at the propaganda machine, anything you say, if you say, hey, just do this for the kids or else, like, who's going to oppose that? You'll seem like a heartless person, and nobody's going to oppose that, and that's what they're using to apparently slowly but surely take our rights away. You know what I wanted to talk to you about, actually? I'm pretty sure you didn't know already. The assault weapons ban that's already on the floor in Congress.
Yeah, I know all about it, actually.
So, why is every semi-automatic weapon on that list? Do you have any clue? Is that to me? I mean, again, I'm speaking frankly. I'm a gun owner. I'm not a fan of the NRA, but
okay, I'm going to tell you something that's really stupid. Okay, people that have watched my latest video on the Parkland shooting know this because I pointed it out. But the assault weapons ban currently before Congress specifically exempts the Mini 14. And the AR-15 and the Mini 14 are both 5.56 caliber, gas-operated, magazine-fed, air-cooled semi-automatic rifles. They both accept 30-round magazines, and they are virtually identical in function.
But when I read through it, it specifically said all semi-automatic weapons. Like that means anything down to a handgun. That's not a revolver or a shotgun or a lever.
You're right. It can be interpreted that way. But the Mini 14, for some strange reason, was specifically exempted. Mentioned by name that the Mini 14 was not included in the...
Why would that be?
I have no idea. It just goes to show the stupidity of these anti-gunners. That's all there is to it.
I actually want to ask...
They don't know what they're talking about.
I want to ask a couple anti-gunners that have the assault weapons sign. I want to ask them what an assault weapon is and see what their responses are.
I'd like to get you on film doing that, but
I'm waiting for one to come over this way. I don't want to start stuff to start a hornet's nest. There's one over there.
I'm packing. But we're going to try to hold some conversations with these folks.
I want to find some people that
okay. I'm going to go talk to these guys with the ARs over here and see what they got to say. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
If I can ask you a couple of questions. My name is Bob Powell, and I produce a news program called The Truth is Viral. It's a conservative, Christian, pro-Second Amendment news program. As you can see, I'm carrying myself. And I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
When you see something like this in the United States of America, where people just want to trample on and eviscerate the Second Amendment, how does that make you feel? I mean, all these people around here are saying, ban the very weapon that you're carrying.
Well, to me, having spent 20 years in the military, I defended their right for free speech just like this. And I believe that my right for the Second Amendment should be just as equally taken care of as well as theirs. They're within their rights to believe the way they believe. However, they should be educated before they make it public and try to take away that which we have earned. I was talking with some individuals today about a House bill introduced by the Democrats probably a couple weeks ago, where they wish to ban all automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons.
Right.
All right. I says, do you know that a 6-round revolver classifies as a semi-automatic weapon? Well, how? Click, 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 click. That's a semi-automatic, right. A pump-action shotgun that everybody hunts with, semi-automatic weapon. Pump-action 30-06, semi-automatic weapon. Okay? I don't go around practicing to shoot people. I utilize a AR-15 because that's something I want to do, as is my right.
Right.
Okay. I don't run around with a 30-round clipper like this, but they're not illegal. So.
Right. As a Marine, the AR platform is what I grew up on, basically. So, you know, it's something that I can take apart and put together with my eyes closed. So, and you know, that's why I like the ARs so much. I didn't bring mine out here today because I've got so much other equipment to carry.
Well, I have my concealed carry, but I figured that it probably wasn't really that great a thing I wasn't feeling threatened to have to carry the thing around.
Oh, no, of course
but
not.
I carried this. One, if you see that there's no clip, the action's back,
no
and it's cabled. You know?
But there are people that should carry them, because I know a couple that have to do it for their protection because of the grid.
Now, if I'm going to be traveling outside the area, I'm going to carry my handgun.
You have to.
I'm not too worried about the folks around here like this, obviously. But it's my right to do so, and I am responsible. You know, and I make sure that the training is well. I made sure that my wife knew how to break down, clean, and reassemble the handgun in case for some reason I couldn't. and fire in the school.
Right.
You know, that's the whole thing. I don't know what the answer is necessarily to all the school shootings, except I do believe it started back in the 60s.
Take away the guns.
I do believe that it was back in the 60s when Madeleine Murray O'Hare took out prayer in schools.
That's
and
exactly
that
right.
started the snowball rolling, responsibility and accountability and the whole thing like this. So that's where I'm at.
Now, you would absolutely love my show. I'm going to have to point you towards it because everything that you just said, right down to taking God out of the schools, is something that I've taken into consideration.
The problem is a sickness in the hearts of Americans, a sickness that has been fed by the media and fake news outlets like CNN and MSNBC, a sickness that has been growing like a cancer since the 60s when God was taken out of the schools.
Again, I'm retired Air Force. The first anytime you
Well,
get a
thank
hold
you
of
for
me.
your service. That's an awful long time.
Well, 73 to 93, so I got to see if I can. Well, I'll tell you what.
But it's just, no, who would have ever thought in our parents' age that this could ever go on?
Well,
Take away our freedom.
You know, it took about 10 years for Hitler to soften up Germany before he actually became der Fuhrer.
What was the reasoning behind Adolf Hitler taking the weapons away from the citizenry? We need to protect our children.
Yeah.
That was his reasoning.
That was the public reasoning. The private reasoning was that you can't put armed people into a boxcar.
Pol Pot, you take the weapons away so you can kill them by the mass millions.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's how you control the population. You know, there's no way
Michael.
we're going to be able to control 70 million hunters as long as they still have weapons.
Yeah.
That's the reason the Chinese said they're going to be able to invade the United States because they have the largest standing army in the world. 70 million hunters.
Yeah. In Michigan.
And they know the localities.
In Michigan alone, each hunting season, we have the third largest standing army in the world.
Our whole thing is that we're not to intimidate anyone.
Yeah.
We want to show them what an actual AR-15 looks
Right.
like. It's really not that frightening.
No, it's
firearms like this. But it is cabled. It is the lockback, the whole thing like this. So and I carry no.
What's your name?
Dan Mitchell.
Dan Mitchell, Bob Powell. It's been nice talking to you. Appreciate it. I'm going to go talk to some of these folks and see what their reasoning is. Hey, can I ask?
Do they want us to be able to kill kids at school?
Excuse me?
Do they want us to be able to kill kids at school?
I don't think that anybody wants that.
What is the nature of the protest then?
Which protest? That one over there?
Yeah.
Just to show you that it's not so scary.
I'm scared.
You know, there really are good people with guns.
But
I happen to be married to one, but he doesn't think that anybody should carry. Yeah, we got these lovely deer hanging on our wall, but my husband doesn't think that you should carry one of those things.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do you know what the Second Amendment says?
I really, yes, but there's also laws. Cars can kill, but you know what? They're regulated.
Yeah, they sure are.
But you so should guns.
But anybody can have one as long as.
No, they can't.
Yeah. Well, unless you've lost your license, yeah.
Okay. They're regulated. They have to meet certain, and if you don't pay the insurance that costs $1,200 a year, you probably will go to prison or pay a big ticket. No, we regulate. That's all we're asking. We're not asking to take your car away.
Okay,
we're not asking to take your gun away.
driving's not a right.
You know what?
Driving's a privilege.
Shooting kids.
Driving is a privilege.
Privileges have
Owning a gun is an absolute right.
By whom?
If you're part of a local regulated militia.
By whom?
Do you know that every American citizen is considered to be part of the militia?
No one has regulated me. They haven't contacted
I can attest to that. She's unregulated.
Well, should you care to, you can join the militia.
I think that's going to be our next step. We will join and we'll vote you guys.
Well, the militia has nothing to do with voting. It's to protect your rights and to protect your life.
My right to go into school and shoot a bunch of kids?
No, ma'am. It's not that at all. Nobody wants to do that. Do you know that
People do. People do it all the time.
the latest FBI statistics show that you are 5 times more likely to be beaten to death with a hammer than you are to be shot by an AR-15.
A single white man.
A single white man? Was Omar Mateen a single white man?
Hey, you know what? I can give you any number of white men.
Oh, I can give you a number. How about Julio Gonzalez, who burned to death 87 people with a book of matches and a can of gasoline in the Happy Land nightclub in New York City?
If it makes you feel stronger to protect your version of what is true.
No, ma'am, it's not my version. It's the facts. Gun ownership has gone up 50 million people since 1970, and gun deaths have dropped by half over the same time.
No,
absolutely.
Yes, it is absolutely true. No, ma'am. Only coverage of them has increased on the TV. Go to look and see the FBI statistics, and you'll see that I'm telling you the truth.
What did the Alpena News do this morning?
I have no idea.
Then go look.
So you don't think that people need to be trained and learn how to?
I think it's a very good idea. Yeah, I think it's a very good idea, but it's an absolute right. Do you think that people need to be trained before they use their First Amendment right to speak?
Yeah.
It's a good idea, but it's not a requirement, is it?
And there are limits to your First Amendment rights. And
Explain the militia.
Explain the militia?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically the Second Amendment.
You belong to it.
Who's regulating the militias?
Anybody that wishes to be regulated. If you join a militia,
I don't think that's
if you join a militia, you train and you train and you train and you train for a day that you pray never comes. Because the Second Amendment is not about hunting. It's not about personal protection. The Second Amendment was given to us by the founders because they had just fought a bloody war to free themselves from a tyrant king. And they believed that day should never come again, so they wanted to give the people the right to shoot back at a government should it ever turn tyrannical.
And the problem is that it's not the government that's being shot at. We do have the right to revolution.
They've got rocket launchers.
That's in the Constitution.
Okay.
But it doesn't give people the right to use militias or people that are not in militias to have the weapons, does it?
It sure does.
No, it doesn't. If they're not in a well-regulated militia, they do not have that right.
Is there any
How many gun owners?
You can have? Can you have a nuclear bomb? Can you have a tank, a rocket launcher,
if you want to,
whatever? What's the government got?
Exactly. That is why the Second Amendment was written the way it was written, to give people the ability to fight back against the government with the exact same weaponry.
How about fighting at the voter, at the ballot box? We'll take
No.
God. We'll take God.
Okay, how about this? You want to repeal the Second Amendment. Here's what you're going to have.
No one has said that. No one has said that. I want everybody who buys a gun to be a regular member of a well-regulated militia.
They don't have to be. It's not a requirement.
Why does it
saying
say
it
well-regulated militia?
Okay, you're only focusing on the first part. A well-regulated... No!
You're only focusing
There's
on the second
part after the comma, though. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people, not the right of the militia, but the right of the people shall not be infringed.
Well, why did they put that in there?
I think
if it doesn't mean anything.
I didn't say it didn't mean anything. They clarified it after the comma. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It does not say licensed, it doesn't say regulated, and it doesn't say taxed.
There are lots of people who should not be allowed to have arms. I'm sorry, but
I agree with you 100%. If you want to expand mental health checks, I'm all for that 100%.
Are you willing to have your taxes increased to do it?
Why should our taxes have to be increased? Because
how are you going to do
right now, the way it is right now, if somebody has been adjudicated mentally ill, they cannot buy a firearm.
Well, the problem is not everybody who's doing this is had a record before. A lot of people do this as their first venture, especially the young people.
Yeah, well, yeah. A lot of young people kill somebody for the first time texting and driving. 11,000 last year alone. How come there are no marches against that?
It wasn't. Well, there have been. A lot of people are upset about texting and so on.
I haven't seen one single march. 11,000 children
did not
died.
have it as an intent. They were not homicidal. They maybe were not thinking.
There are always going to be homicidal people. 2 years ago, a teenager wielding a knife went into a school and he stabbed 20 of his classmates.
How good is it that he did not have an automatic rifle with him then?
Well, I suppose it's a good thing. But I'm just saying that there will always be evil people in the world, and they will use whatever means they can come up with to kill people. One of these trucks, if they had an evil intent, they could just drive up here and kill all of us. So how are you going to prevent that?
We're going to the Black Sheep when you're done. Have this conversation.
Okay.
How are you going to prevent that?
We'll buy a beer.
Buy a beer? I would join you, but I'm armed. I can't do that. So have a nice day. Thank you for speaking with me. Ain't no changing their minds. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The part after the comma, people. So what do you think about all these snowflakes out here, brother?
The right to speak.
Yeah, but do you think they're correct in their assertions that the AR-15 is a mobile black death machine?
No, I don't believe.
No, I can take my hunting rifle, which is a semi-automatic Remington, and put a 20-round magazine in it. What's the difference? It's not this assault weapon, but it's a deer rifle, but I can just put a larger capacity magazine in it.
Yeah, well, they would like to take those magazines and make them smaller. That Every Town Against Gun Violence, Shannon Watts tweeted out a picture the other day of a really scary looking black rifle. But the problem was it was a 22 rimfire bolt action. That's something she wants banned. These people are absolutely ridiculous. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. They can't tell the difference between a clip and a magazine or a ghost gun firing 30-round clips in half a second.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second. This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
Looks like just about everybody's gone, folks. There's only a couple of anti-gun protesters left. It's really cold out here. It's like 20 degrees. It's the end of March. Come on. There's still snow on the ground. Look, over there. You should see my house. It's got a lot of snow on the ground. I want to talk to these folks over here, see what they've got to say. Hi, folks. How are you? My name is Bob Powell. I publish The Truth is Viral, and it's a conservative Christian news program, Second Amendment friendly. And I'd like to get your opinions on these issues. Can you tell me why you're out here today?
To see what's going on.
Just to see what's going on?
Essentially.
Or to deliver a message?
You can have that.
I couldn't hear much of anything going on myself. Here we have a petition. The language I'm unclear of, but it's to make it easier to vote.
Yeah.
Backed by the League of Women Voters and the ACLU.
Okay, that's great. Does it have anything to do with voter IDs?
With voter ID?
Right.
No.
No? Do you think that's a good idea?
Voter ID?
Yeah.
I think the voters should be known, certainly, when they register.
Yeah.
I think they should have ID when they register.
Well, I mean, a specific ID for voting.
If they do, let the government issue it.
Right. I mean, that's something you can do when you go get your driver's license, right?
I'm completely against the entire idea of this rack all around the country. It's just a Republican right-wing thing to keep liberals from voting. That's what it's all about. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Let me ask you a question. How is it really an inconvenience to ask everybody?
Because not everybody has the information to get it or the means to get there. There are a lot of poor people, older people who don't even have birth certificates.
Well, you know, you can apply for social services online or through the mail. I'll bet you could get a voter ID the same way.
Why do you need it? There's no voter fraud. Except,
There's no voter fraud?
Except large scale.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not. There's you can count on one hand the number of cases that are in any election nationwide. It's bullshit. Utter bullshit. Get your facts straight, dude. I'm sick of this crap. I'm not accepting this. It's just a straw man argument to keep the cotton man from voting. There's nothing more to it. Those people have even said it out loud.
Well, even if the IDs are free?
You don't need it. It's not necessary. It works the way it is.
Mexico requires an ID.
I don't care what Mexico does. This is America. It has nothing to do with Mexico.
Well, in the United States, don't you think it's a good idea to have only citizens vote for the people that lead us?
We already have everything in place for that. It's not necessary.
Well, yes, we do think that's a good idea.
We do,
but, like
but
said,
we don't need it.
I don't really
It's
believe
oppressive.
that.
It's an oppressive law designed to keep people from voting. That's it, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it.
You
See you later.
said that this petition was, like for the ACLU, sponsored by the ACLU and all that stuff. I had a man on my show, a lawyer, an ACLU lawyer by the name of Nate Westler, a couple of years ago. He was on the National Security Project, which tackled the issue of drones during the Obama administration. After Anwar al-Awlaki, Samir Khan, and al-Awlaki's 16-year-old son were killed by drone strikes ordered by Barack Obama.
What does this have to do with
I just want to point out
And
something.
besides, drone strikes have been happening under every president. They're happening great jobs.
But I want to point out
Barack
something
Obama
in
doesn't need to
particular.
be singled out.
I want to point out something in particular.
Okay.
The ACLU was suing the Obama administration for illegally killing these 3 American citizens.
Good idea.
Good.
Okay.
What's it got to do with it?
So Nate Westler told me that the Barack Obama administration was lawless.
So if the government in fact had information that Anwar al-Awlaki was engaged in actual activity that was likely to lead to the deaths of U.S. citizens or others, or that he actually had engaged in that activity, then that should furnish the government with grounds to go to court, seek an indictment, charge him, and proceed to trial. And there are lots of examples in recent years and in the further past of successful prosecutions against people accused of terrorism. And really, without more information from the government, it's impossible to know what kind of evidence they had. If they had to go to court, they would have to produce evidence to the judge or the jury, prove their case, and then a verdict would be issued. Here, the government, the president, and those working for him seem to have taken on the duty of judge, jury, and executioner all by themselves.
Okay, now, folks, what I've got here is a copy of the Federalist Papers. This is a selection of writings by our founding fathers. And in Federalist Paper number 47, James Madison writes, "No political truth is certainly of greater intrinsic value, or is stamped with the authority of more enlightened patrons of liberty than that on which the objection is founded. The accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judiciary, in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, and whether hereditary, self-appointed, or elective, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny." Now, when Barack Obama took it upon himself to illegally kill an American citizen, that day, September 30th, 2011, he became a tyrant.
Your argument is absurd.
It's not
its
absurd.
face and has nothing to support it.
It's not absurd.
I'm done talking to you.
I'm just telling you what the ACLU told me. Hey, my fingers are warm again. Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral live from Alpena, Michigan, folks. The short little March for Our Lives, sponsored by the Democratic Party and people that don't really know what they're talking about. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and don't forget to share, like, and comment. And as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I can't even see the screens. It's so bright out. How am I going to even shut this sucker off? I can't see. There we go. There's the button.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter @The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.